Okay, so on to the traditionals. I'm sorry if you hear people in the background. I will fix that in a second, but it's the next day because I did this last night. I did the minis last night, and then I'm doing traditionals now. So the first traditional horse was the actual last traditional horse to show that day. Triple Chocolate, who is my All Glory celebration model dude. I put him in class in the gated division, and he has got some minor rubs on the side that I thought looked pretty noticeable to the judge. But bless Beth Patterson because she placed him. I mean, it's not super awesome, but this is sixth, and I was pretty proud of that because he was up against some pretty nice horses. A Ryman won that class actually, and I was pretty happy about that because he was a friend's Ryman, and I kind of obsessed over him the entire day. But I was happy he got a sixth, and I'm pretty proud of Magnus. So this next horse I'm about to show you is new. You guys haven't seen her before. I was really super proud of her placing. Like, ridiculously proud of her. She is Madison Avenue, and I got her from another Blabber, a model horse Blabber, as a piff, a pay it forward, and I adore her. She's spectaculous, and I just love her. And she does have some rubs on the side. Like, they're pretty noticeable, but I still showed her anyways, and she beat my All Glory and got a fifth in that same class. And I was super excited. I'm just like sitting there like, oh yeah, she's walking by her. She almost puts the six down. She kind of walks by Magnus, and she walks back, and she just like really super quickly puts the fifth down, and then walks over to Magnus, who's my All Glory, and puts down the six. I'm like, yes, both my national show horses placed. I was super happy. I mean, of course they didn't get nans, but I mean, what judge would nan this? I put her on the end of the table, so she was like this, and all the horses were like this around her. But so it'd be kind of like she'd have to go to the other side of the table because there were two tables set up like this, so they were long ways, and then they were long ways. So she'd have to go all the way over here just to see the other side of her. Strategy, everyone. Strategy! So I'm super proud of her. She has a nice pink ribbon. It's super bright in real life. You can kind of see that. It's like the actual color of it. But I'm really happy. The next guy I'm going to show you is my Kong here. So, I obviously showed him as a Percheron because Wixoms are pretty easy Percherons. And I put him up there. There were like 2 or 3 other Kongs in that class, and I'm like, oh, he'll probably get like a third or something, or because Kong usually does pretty well. I mean, once again, easy Percheron. It's a Wixom. So, I'm gonna move this other ribbon and stuff over here. It's in my shot. It needs to get out. So, I just put him up there, and I come back because I had to put another horse in the custom class, and I come back, and he's nanned, and he's got a first. I'm like, oh my gosh. I didn't know my Kong was that good because I thought he was gonna be, just beaten out. I mean, he does have this rub on this one side, which you can't really see, but there's a rub. And I thought he was just gonna be dusty. I dusted him for like 2 minutes, just stood there and dusted him, but I was super proud of my Kong, Inigo. So now he's nanned. Yay, Kong. The next horse is my Mirrors. She was in the Gypsy Vanner class, and I mean, I was expecting her to do pretty well because I had a reference for her and everything for her color, and Beth was explaining how to judge a class, and she was talking about really just how well does your horse match its breed, and my reference, a lot of the gypsies, the gypsies all have really big fluffy feathers, and she really doesn't, and I kind of thought I could get away with it, but I guess not, because she got a 6th, which was the last in her class, and I'm like, next time I'm gonna have to change her breed now, because, well, that's pretty much it about her. I'm just trying to think of a new breed for her, because I don't want to show her as, like, an albino Frisian, because obviously the shading on her is not, like, albino, she's gray, but we'll find something. This classic dude didn't place, wasn't expecting him to, not disappointed at all, just kind of threw him in there because I had him. So, this next girl, she is my Constellation. I put her in the quarter horse class because, Roxy's do pretty well stock horses. I know South Four Stables has this cray breed that she uses that either fails absolutely and totally or wins her grand champions. I A, don't have the time to research cray-cray braids like that. B, don't want to take that sort of risk. So I threw in the quarter horse class. My friend, Sarah, who a lot of people know because she shows a lot. She won, but she got a third, and I was actually pretty happy about that. I think there was like Lossy Smart Chicolina in that class. She might have beaten him. I'm pretty sure she did. So I was pretty happy about that. So, I mean, that's one away from nanning, which I don't really like thirds because it's always like, oh, I was so close. But, you know, I'm still pretty happy she placed, and I'm happy with third for her. This is another guy who I was pretty happy with, my Lionheart, who I had some really wacky breed for him, and it was actually just a crossbreed that I'm surprised not a lot of other people thought of to put him as. I threw him in the other Spanish class, and I had a reference there because I had contacted the actual breed registry for the breed I crossed him with to make sure that that breed could have primitive markings on them. And they wrote me an email back, and I printed out the email, and Beth thought it was hysterical that I did that. She's like, this is so innovative, and I'm like, yeah. And so she gave him a third, and I was super happy about that, because I didn't know if that breed would work or not, and I'm really happy it did, because, you know, moody sculptures. So, third, I'm pretty happy with, like I said, the Constellation. I'm not complaining. He plays pretty well, and I'm super happy with Mr. Lionheart. So this next guy is my Mariah's Boone. I was really happy with his placing. I think one of the reasons he plays is because he is, actually this model is shown as this breed a ton, but I don't think people actually realize that a certain part, they just put it as this generic blank horse, right? But they don't realize that they have to have, there's two different breeds under that you have to have, like, a specific one for. So I wrote up a reference for this guy. I actually did that for this breed, which isn't, that wasn't really super needed, but I still did it anyways. And Beth really liked it, and she placed him second, and he got an AND card in the other drafts class, which was a massive class. It was huge, and I was super happy about that. So Mr. Skywalker, Luke here, he got a second and an AND card, and so now my Mariah's Boone is NAND, which is awesome. Yay! And he actually has overspray. There. Over there, maybe here, yep. So he's got overspray, and he's still NAND, and that was really awesome. This is my one really big disappointment of the day. This guy did not place in his class at all. I mean, it wasn't a huge shock because it was custom and artist resin, and of course there were all these like super professional-ish customs there. And this guy, even though he does have his really nice resculpted mane and his really awesome shading, I mean, he just didn't cut it, I guess, but that's okay. He'll do better next time. This girl didn't place in other light. No big surprise. None of the judges really like this mold because it's kind of wonky. But, you know, brought her just in case. This guy was my other kind of upset of the day. I wrote out a reference for this guy and everything. I had a really good breed for him. It's pretty commonly used with this mold. And he didn't place, and I was kind of upset about that. But, I mean, it's the big warm blood class. I tried not to let it get me down because I had some other good placings in that division. But, you know, I just wish this guy would have placed because it's my favorite mold. And I would have loved to know if that breed had actually worked. And I guess it didn't, so I'll have to change it. Or maybe I don't know, we'll see with him. So this next one I was kind of really annoyed with Briar at. It was my Halflinger mare. And for those of you who don't know, my Halflinger mare, has this massive box rub on her side. And, of course, I couldn't do anything about that, really. I'm not really confident enough in my customizing, because she looks really orange on camera, that's not good. Oh my gosh, what is on her? Okay, that's off. My one panic attack, little sticky thing on her. I'm not really that confident enough to touch it up in a way that I think is gonna help her excel. It's probably gonna hurt her, but, she was in the European / was it Asian ponies? And she got a third, which I was pretty happy about. She beat some horses, but the only reason I was super mad at Briar is because the judge said she would have placed her second and gotten her NAND if she didn't have this darn rub on her. So I really need to fix that up for the next show, or send her to someone to fix up, because I really don't, I don't want this there, or I'll have to get another one, because I really I just want her to excel because I love this mold, and it's a great representation of what I showed her as, but I just want her to not have box rubbed Briar. Alright, now on to the placings I would consider my most favorite or best. So, you know, if you know me on YouTube, everybody knows my flashy Starlight. He's not really flashy, but he is Starlight, and he is a flash, so I call him Flashy Starlight. I want you to focus on him, camera, he's beautiful. So, if you've been watching me since March of this year, you knew that Carolina Gold Classic 2013, going to the one 2014, I just sent my entry in. The show was going to be the best. He got a reserve champion. So at this one, I had high hopes for him, and hopefully he did well. He was the one I really, 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 really wanted to nan, to prove that this breed is the bestest for him, and that Morgans are not flashes. And does this look like Morgan to you? No, it doesn't. It's not a Morgan. So I put him up there in the other American/British pony class, and he got a second, and I was so happy, because now he's got a Nan card, and now he's Nanned as this breed, because, you know, yay. I was so happy. He's my little baby. He's my showing baby. He's my little, I just love him. So, I'm just super proud of him, and I'm so happy that he did so well. Because I love Mr. Starlight. Okay, this is now I think these are the two best placings of the entire day. So, this guy, Wapiti, everyone's like, oh my gosh, he never shows well. I can't believe Briar would make such a weird color on this mold. Oh my gosh, I hate him. I adore my Wapiti, and I adore him even more now because of how well he did yesterday. I was so super excited. He earned me my first Nan card ever. So I put him up there in the American Warfield class, and the pictures, I had to find them, and oh my gosh, it took like an hour and a half to find two. And I spent hours over that reference just so he would do well, and he did. He got a first, and he beat, who'd he beat? He beat some Stones, he beat some other nice models, he beat some Revels, he beat some other guys in this mold. He beat everyone in that class, and I was so super excited that my research actually paid off for him, because I really didn't want that to go to waste, because he either did well, like he did, or he either would have just done, like, bleh. So, the reason he is one of the best is because I put him up there for callbacks, right? And so, I am standing there, just waiting for her to call him out, and she goes, okay, reserve champion is Rembrandt. And he got a reserve champion at the show. Who beat him? I don't even know who beat him. I didn't care. I wasn't really listening that much. But I was so happy, because it just proves that if you have good breeds, if you have good references, your models can actually win. I mean, it doesn't matter if they're like one-of-a-kind $1,000 stones. They can be semi-regular. He's a special edition, just kidding. They can be Briars, OF Briars, that aren't that hard to find. And they can win.